everyone, hey, it's Jen Arkfeld with Stamp Silly, and today I have got a super fast video for you. Well, maybe the video won't be super fast, but the card is actually super fast. This uses the brand new Reason for the Season stamp set from Stampin' Up, and it's super easy. So here's our stamp set. Let me zoom out just a little bit here so you can see it a little better. Okay, so here's the stamp set. It's got these really great poinsettias, and it has the outline image, and then you can use the flower image to fill in, and then the leaf image to fill in the leaves, and there's even the center that you can use a yellow maybe for that or something. But it also has these leaf images that coordinate with the punch. And I will show you a project coming up with that also. But it's also got some great sentiments in there. I love the script of it because it's not a script that we see all the time. So anyway, so this is the Reason for the Season stamp set. And again, here's my card. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this real quick. It's got just a simple heat embossing image, and then we're going to layer it up. So, okay, let's get after it here. I have a piece of real red cardstock, and it measures 4 by 5 1/4. And what I'm going to do here is use my embossing buddy over the top of it really, really good. Okay, and I have the outline image already mounted, and my Versamark ink. Okay, so I'm going to use my Versamark ink. This is just a sticky ink that has no color to it. I'm going to stamp this 3 times on my card here. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top. And I'm going to purposely go off the edge just a little bit. Okay, so there's one. We'll ink this up again, really, really good. And you can see, you can kind of see where the image is so that you don't stamp over it again. I'm going to come this way now and stamp here. And one more time. And each time I go to stamp, I do like to turn the stamp so that the images rotate just a little bit. Okay, so there I have that. Now I've got some Whisper White embossing powder. I just keep my embossing powder in a container so that it doesn't make quite a mess. So I'm just going to sprinkle on the embossing powder onto the card. And you see how the embossing powder just goes right back into my dish. I do have a couple little areas that I need to clean up, and I just use a makeup brush that's real fine, and this works wonderful at cleaning up all of those little spots where embossing powder stuck that I didn't want it to. I'm thinking that looks pretty good. So now we're going to go ahead and heat this up with our heat tool. Okay, so now I have that all heat embossed, and now we're going to do the overlay stamping, or the 2-step stamping portion. And for that we are using the solid image that was in our stamp set. So this is the flower image. We're going to use that, and I'm just going to use real red ink because that is what we used for cardstock. So it's just going to be a tone on tone color. Okay, so I'm just inking up my ink there, and the key here is to find the petals that match. There is a little arrow, and I don't know if that coordinates with what's on the other stamp or not. I haven't looked at it that closely, but sometimes I find this fatter leaf, and I can easily point that out on on the stamp. Okay, so there we have that. I don't know if you guys can see that real well in the camera, but there we go. You can see that it darkens up a little bit there. I am going to throw a piece of scrap paper under me to stamp these other two so I don't get ink on my surface here. Okay. So again, I found that fatter leaf and I'm lining it up with the fatter image on the stamp. Okay, one last time. This goes super quick, and these would be a great card to mass produce because it does go rather quickly. Now what I'm going to do, because that ink will not stick to the areas where we have it embossed, I'm just going to take a tissue. I just have a tissue here. You could use a paper towel or an old rag of some sort, and I'm just going to wipe that off because that red ink won't stick to the white embossing powder, and it will smear later on. You'll notice I'm rubbing towards the center of the flower because I don't want ink smears to be elsewhere. And I'm rubbing rather hard just so that just so I get all that ink off of the white embossing powder and that embossing powder starts to shine up again. Okay, so I have that. That was really easy, wasn't it? And now we're going to adhere this to a card base. For that, I'm just using some of our Whisper White thick cardstock. Oops, sorry. I like that for the fact that it's really heavy duty. It's a nice sturdy cardstock. And I will take some, there we go. I'm going to use Fast Fuse because I want it to hold well. And because when you heat emboss, a lot of times your cardstock will warp slightly. So the Fast Fuse will help spread that out, smooth out your cardstock. So I'm just adhering this with an equal border around the edges, as equal as I can get it. And you'll see that I kind of went from one side to the other, and that again, that helps even out any warpage that you got when you emboss this. Okay, now lastly, we're just going to add the Merry Christmas. Here I just have a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. It measures like a 1/2 inch wide, and I just save these scraps when I'm cutting down my cardstock from other projects. So I have a whole pile of them. And then I'm just using the word Christmas. This comes from the Holly Jolly Greetings set. This is the set, and it has coordinating dies that go with it. So, and the dies say Merry, Jolly, and Peace, I believe. Peace, Merry, and Jolly, and they're scripty thinlits. But I love all of the verses that go with it, so you can mix and match. Okay, so I'm just using Christmas. I'm going to stamp that on my scrap here, and then I'm going to take my little mini banner punch, and that's what I'm going to use to flag the end. So I'm just slipping this into the punch from the back side and lining it up as even as I can get it and giving it a punch. Okay. You'll notice I left quite a bit on this end because here I have the Merry portion already die cut, and I want the Y to stick down over the end there. So I'm just going to take my bone folder and give this a quick little curl. I don't want it to curl terribly, and hopefully it'll flatten out just a little bit more. And again, some Fast Fuse on the back. I'm going to line that up with the edge over here, and it'll stick down a little bit farther. And then to attach the Merry, I've die cut this out of gold foil paper. All right, that's in our Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. I'm going to just use some the fine tip glue pen. And you know what, you can just dot this on, or you can kind of follow along the words, follow the script of the words, or like I said, you can dot it on in the thicker spots, whatever you prefer. When this dries, if it happens to seep out from underneath the die cut, it does dry clear. It does have a little bit of shine to it, so you might see it, but it's nothing horrible. It dries clear and it dries hard. It doesn't dry tacky like some of our green multi-purpose liquid glue does. The Tombow glue, as I typically call it. Okay, so I'm going to place that tail of that Y right there, and then press the rest of the words in place. And sometimes I just like to take something else other than my fingers to hold that down till it kind of adheres. It does take the fine tip glue, takes just a little bit for the glue to actually take hold. So holding it in place is sometimes a good idea. There we go. I think we got that good. Okay, now to finish this off, you know, all I'm going to do is add some of our white perfect accents. And to do these, I'm going to put my lid back on my glue quick. To do these, I like to use my scissors. And I just open my scissors up and use the sharp end and grab one of these perfect accents. And just place them where I want them. To me, that seems to work the best. That way I don't get my fingers onto the adhesive at all. Typically, I try and place these in somewhat of a triangular fashion. It's just more pleasing to the eye that way. I think I'm going to go down here. Whoops, not there though. Oops. Okay, as you can see, this card was really quick and easy to make, and it's quite striking in person. I hope it comes over the video just as striking, because there's lots of shine going on between the white perfect accents and the gold foil and the white heat embossing. I think in the end it's just quite a striking card, and you didn't take a lot of time to do it, so it's one of those that's perfect to do a mass mailing of for your Christmas cards. Okay, well that's all I have for you today, everyone, but if you have questions, leave them in the comment section below and I will try and get all those comments answered, or you can flip on over to my blog, which is stamped-silly.com, and feel free to ask questions there or whatnot. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed today's session, and I will catch you next time. Thanks everyone, bye-bye!